we're going to cover 3.3, which is dealing with functions and basically how to substitute values in and see what you get for your output. So this is going to piggyback off of what we just finished on 3.2, which is input, output, and if it's linear or not. So let's step into the first one we have. It is f of x equals negative x plus 4. Now, for the first 6 problems, we are going to plug numbers in to get an answer for y. So x is going to be negative 4, 0, and 2. So basically, you're going to have 3 problems. It's substitution. That's all it is. F of x, we need to come over here and do this. F of x is the same as saying y. So it's really important that you understand that f of x is the same as saying y. That way you get in your mind that f of x is y. Okay? So when you have f of 4, negative 4, sorry, and we're going to put the value into that equation. So I have negative 4 plus 4. Well, negative and a negative becomes positive, so it's 4 plus 4, which is 8. So when I give you negative 4 for x, you will get 8 for y. Think of the second one. So f of 0. Anything that replaces into the variable 0 times it is going to be 0. So negative 1, which is what's basically in front of here, times 0 is going to be 0. So 0 plus 4 is 4. So when I tell you you have 0 for x, 4 is what you have for y. The last one, f of 2. So put that negative 1 there. So basically it's saying negative 1 times 2 plus 4 is the same as saying negative 2 plus 4, which is going to give me positive 2. So if I give you a 2, you will get a 2. All right, now we did the first one, so now I want you to look at the next few. G of x, when I say f of x, that could also be g of x or h of x or u of x or any of the ones they have up there. That's just another way of saying y. So please keep that in mind. I know I said f of x, but basically anything of x is the same as saying y. So I want you to try to do number 2 and number 3 before we start getting into decimals. So try 2 and 3 and then come back to me. So pause it and we'll see how you did. Okay, now let's check out and see how you did. When you had g of negative 4, you would have gotten negative 20. If you had g of 0, you're going to have 0. You have g of 2, you're going to have 10. Now let's look at this one. For number 3, if you put in negative 4, you're going to get 15. If you put in 7 or 0, you're going to get 7. And if you put in 2, you're going to get 3. So how'd you do? Good. If not, go back, watch the first one again, and check and see if you made any simple mathematical errors. Folks, it's real easy to lose a sign. Remember, negative times a negative becomes a positive, so that's 7 plus 8, which gives me 15. Some of those are the ones that get us the most. All right, let's look at number 4. Okay, so number 4, basically we're doing the same thing, only it's decimaled. You can do a couple different things, but I think it's easier just to get it in. If you want to evaluate, you can. So we're going to have s of negative 4 equals 12 minus 0.25x. The thing is, this is divisible. So this is going to be 12 minus, this is like saying 1/4 times negative 4. So 1/4 of 4 is the same way of saying 1. 2 negatives make it positive, so 12 plus 1 makes 13. All right, so that's how they're going to get this ordered pair of negative 4, 13. Our next one, s of 0 quite straightforward here. We are going to put a 0 in place for x. So our answer is just 12. So that's how you're going to get 0, 12. And then the last one is s of 2 equals 12 minus 0.25x. So if you take 2 times that, it's going to be 0.5. So 12 minus 0.5. And then when you subtract it, you get 11.5. So you're going to have 2, 11.5. All right, so that one right there looked more complicated than it was, but it's basically the same thing, like I keep saying, the same routine. Look at number 5 here, same thing. We're going to have t of -4 equals, now go ahead and combine these two. So this is going to be 4 plus 3x. So I'm going to have 4 plus 3 times -4. So I'm going to end up with 4 minus 12, which is going to be -8. So if we have -4, we're going to have -8. Look at the next one. So we're going to have t of 0. Well, anything times 0 is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up and use this one here instead of the one above. So it's 4 plus 3x. So I'm going to end up having 4 plus 0, which is 4 for your answer. So what we're going to have here is 0, 4. For this particular one, we have t of x. Do not know why I keep doing that. And that's going to be 2 this time. So we have 4 plus 3x. So we are going to end up having 4 plus 6, which is 10. So order pair 2, 10. All right, so there's number 5. Try number 6 now that we've done a couple. Try number 6. That is a u of x. Let me finish my parentheses. U of x. Remember, it's -4, 0, and 2. All right, pause the video and check back. Okay, is that what you got? All right, good. Okay, so now that we know how to do substituting values in, that's going to make things subsequently a lot simpler to do. Let's skip down to problems 8 through 11, and then we'll talk about problem 7. So I want to skip over 7 for the time being because 8 through 11 kind of picks up with this. The only difference is instead of placing in for x, you are subbing in for the f of x or g of x or whatever it is, the other y value. So for number 8, we have b of x equals -3x plus 1. It says replace b of x with -20. So what you're going to do is take and just put this in place over here. That's it. So -20 equals -3x plus 1. And we literally just solved this like we did in chapter 1. So x is going to end up equaling 7. All right, number 9. I want you to try number 9 after I get it wrote out here. So r of x equals 4x minus 3. And r of x, we're going to say, is 33. So I'll give you a boost in the right direction. Finish solving the problem. Tell me what you get for your answer. Did you get 9? Good job. All right, so let's look at number 10 here. And if you notice, I'm going to kind of use my lows here. So for number 10, we have m of x equals -3/5 x minus 4. And we're going to say m of x equals 2. So if this is 2, I'm going to add 4 across. So it gives me 6 equals -3/5 x. Now remember, to get rid of a fraction, you could take and multiply 5 over and then divide by 3. Or the easier way is multiply by the reciprocal, which will be -5/3. So 6 is basically a whole number, so we're going to put it over 1. So 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 5 is -10, and that is what my x is going to be, is -10. And then 11 is basically the same thing. So w of x is going to equal negative 18, it says. Let me put number 11 up here, which is going to give me w of x equals 5/6 minus 3. Treat it the same. Negative 18 equals 5/6 minus 3. Add the 3 across, which gives me negative 15. So just in case you need to see that. Now, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 6/5. Once again, put that over 1. 5 goes in there 3 times. 3 times that is going to give me negative 18 equals x. So when I have negative 18, I'm going to get negative 18. I know it seems so contradictory, but that's really what went on. All right, number 7. Let's look at that particular problem. Let me flip over my notepad here. So number 7 is dealing kind of with a story problem. This is n of t. And basically what it is the number of DVDs you have per trip. So n of t we have here, so n of 0 equals 8. So what I'm saying is here, I have 8 DVDs before I go to video store. And what it says is let n of t be the number of DVDs you have in your collection after t trips to the video store. So if I haven't gone to the video store, then that means I had 8 DVDs before I went. It just kind of stands to reason there. And this is letter A. So letter B says I have n of 3 equals 14. So what that means is after 3 trips, this means you were not very well organized, to the video store, you have 14 DVDs. Okay, so now you've seen 2 of them. I want you to attempt letter C. All right, so attempt letter C. It looks more confusing than it actually is, but it's not that bad. And that, for those of you who don't have your note packet, this is what we have. It is an inequality, but it's making a statement. So take a minute and look this over, so pause the video. Okay, let's see how you did. This one basically was saying you have more DVDs after 5 trips to the video store than after 3 trips. Really not too difficult. You notice I've been kind of writing them in a complete sentence because it's asking us to explain. We know what we're saying, just make sure we write it in a complete sentence is all it's basically saying. All right, last one, let's do together. No, you're not subtracting the 2. This is what it's saying. After 7 trips to the video store, you have 10 more DVDs than after 2 trips. So 10 more means that you have subtracted that. It doesn't mean that after n of 5 trips you have 10. That is not what this means. So after 7 trips to the video store, you have 10 more DVDs than you had after 2 trips. Okay, this one is a little more confusing. I don't know why they make it confusing like it is, but that's basically what they're saying. Okay, now, the last part of this is going to be 12 through 14. So it's on page 73. Let's go there. And let me kind of do a little wiggly line here. So let's pick up after number 11. We're on 12 on page 73. We have s of x equals half x minus 2. Now, folks, all I'm asking you to do is complete the table. So basically, it's like the first ones we did. It's not any more complicated. You're just completing the table. Let me add one more box there. So we have negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and 4. And if you put this in, half of 4 is 2. It's going to be a negative 2 minus 2, which is negative 4. Half of 2 is 1. Negative 1 and negative 2 makes negative 3. 0 means it stays at 2. So now I'm going to do half of 2 is 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Half of 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So now we're going to graph this. Okay, so we're going to start here at negative 4, and we're going to go down 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm right about here. The next one is over 2 and down 3. And then 0 and down 2, 2 and down 1, which mine aren't perfect, so the lines that can be perfect. And then over 4 and 0. So since my lines or my hashes weren't perfect, my line's a little skewed, but if you have graph paper, it will turn out perfect. Okay, look at number 13. I want you to try 13 on your own. Let's get the table set up first. That should be an X. I do not know why I have an extra one this time instead of not enough. I have too many. Okay, and we have t of x equals 1 minus 2x. All right, so pause the video, do this, and then you are done with this problem. We'll graph it together. All right, so hopefully you've paused the video. If you're back here at negative 2, you're actually up here at positive 5. If you are at negative 1, you are at 3. If you are at 0, you are at 1. If you are at 1, you are at negative 1. And if you are at 2, you're at negative 3. So this one was a little better line. Remember, you should be making straight lines. All right, so hopefully you did well with that one. Number 14 here says function b of m. So we have b of m equals 50m plus 150. It represents the balance in dollars in your savings account after m months. The table shows the balance in your friend's savings account. Who has the better savings plan? Well, this kind of goes back to seeing if we got, so if I have $50 a month, that means after 1 month, let's just do 2 months. So if we have 2 months, so 50 times 2, plus 150, that's 100 plus 150, that gives me 250. So okay, let's check and see if 4 months. So 50 times 4 plus 150, so that's 200 plus 150 is 350. So my friend's savings account, it should be savings account plan is better. Unfortunately, mine is not as robust as theirs. Okay, that is it for this particular video. Remember to get started on your homework right away. Not all questions are exactly like this, but most of them are really close, so you should be able to get through this. The next video you're going to watch is going to be basics of graphing and basics of knowing what x and y intercept are. Okay, see you then.